indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, everyone. Okay, are there any additions to the agenda?
Nope. Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Okay, the motion is second. Anything else, Tim?
Nope. I'm good.
Oh, yes.
What?
We're voting.
Oh, yes. You hadn't touched anything else.
I know. I kind of jumped the gun on that, so.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so approve the April 8th, 2024 meeting minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those? I make a motion, we approve it.
The bills were not included on the list when I sent them to you guys, so I added those on there. If you want to see the list of bills that were on there, I can resend out the meeting minutes in the morning.
Yep. Okay.
You're good.
So a motion to approve the minutes as corrected. You should add as corrected on there.
Second? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I will. All right. Discussion? No? Tim?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Approve the April 26th special meeting minutes.
So move.
Second. Questions, comments?
Nope. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. April financials, everybody have a chance to review those?
Yes.
Make a motion, we approve them. Second. Discussion? Tim?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Local permit Washington Riverboat Days. Lindsay Hoff. Apparently it's a cash raffle, 50-50 raffle for cash. Chelsea, anything you can tell us on that? Or?
They plan on doing it at the Ranch Rodeo. It'll be a 50-50, so they're approximately $500 based off what they're planning on selling. Hopefully that they can sell them for. And it'll just be the one drawing.
Oh, one drawing? Okay.
Yep, just the one drawing for the 50-50, and they're having a Ranch Rodeo this year, so this 50-50 will take place at the Ranch Rodeo.
Okay.
All right. I would motion to approve that.
Second. Discussion? Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see, special event permit, Riverboat Saloon. This is for a beer garden.
This is for the beer garden. Yep, for Riverboat Days. Tyler always sets up right outside of his bar, same place that he's done always in the past.
Make a motion to approve. Second. Further discussion? Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Special event permit. Kevin?
This one looks a little bit different because we altered the way we have these special event permits. So the captain's cabin was the first one to fill these out. But same thing, Friday night, they are going to have a tent up at the cabin in the lot next to it that typically they have in the past. With the tent, the band that they have out there, and they'll be set up with the bar outside as well.
Okay.
Bar both places and inside and outside, just like in the past, correct?
Yes.
Make a motion we approve. Second. One comment I could make on this is, says hours alcohol to be served, says 7 hours. I think there should be a time.
Oh.
From when to when. Sure. But, I mean, it'll be during normal business hours, so.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah,
legally they can't go past it.
Right, exactly. So, okay, Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Okay, special event permit, Captain's Cabin. This would be for downtown.
Yep, Saturday night downtown. Scott, I know, did try to ask where exactly they would be set up. The Riverboat Days Committee said they weren't exactly sure. They typically always set up right in front of Stella's out there.
Yep.
I'm guessing that's where they'll be this year as well.
Probably.
And it'll be Saturday night for that one so that they can serve downtown as well.
Okay.
And I think they plan on setting up in the afternoon. I know that's what they've done in the past. After the parade sometimes, I don't exactly know, and then they'll go till probably 12:31.
Okay. Make a motion we approve.
Second.
Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Gaming site authorization, first one is for the Captain's Cabin.
This is just their yearly gaming site authorization that they fill out every year.
Make a motion to approve. Second. Discussion, Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Gaming site authorization, American Legion from Memorial Hall. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And one more, gaming site operation for the Riverboat Saloon. Make a motion to approve. Second. Any discussion? Tim?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Arbor Day.
Okay.
Like forestry.
Yep. Okay, we did the same thing last year, so I'll just go ahead and read it. I think this actually has something to do with them getting some type.
The grant that they get every year, they gave out trees to the kids already at the school, and then they will be giving out free trees this Saturday from 10 until noon, 1, in the parking lot at True Community. So if there's trees there, you can go and get a free tree.
Okay. It's in the paper, I believe.
Yeah, and I have the times right. I believe it starts at 10, and they're doing, I know they're doing it on Saturday at True Community.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and read it quick, Larry. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood for our home, fuel for our fires, countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increases property values, enhance economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Now therefore I, Larry Thomas, Mayor of the City of Washburn, North Dakota, do hereby proclaim May 17, 2024 as Arbor Day in the City of Washburn, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and I urge all citizens to plant trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated this day, 13th. So I would make a motion to approve this as read. Second.
I have a question on that. I know we get this from Carlo when she sends it, but we do not have a mayor. We have a president of the commission. Do we have that corrected?
Should have it corrected, yeah.
Yep, let's correct that.
Yeah.
Yep, president of the city commission. Okay, I'll still make the motion as with that correction.
Second. Okay, discussion? Tim?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so we've got Painted Woods Rec Area chair usage. Chelsea, I believe they came in and talked to you.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Lynn All said to you when he called. I know that they're having some dedication out. Are they putting the fish in the pond, or?
Well, I think it's kind of through Game and Fish, from what I understand.
With,
It's
yeah.
a Painted Woods recreation area. They're setting it up for like canoeing and stuff like that, and having fishing spots. You know, I think they've been working on this for several years, and they want to do a dedication. I know last time they had a dedication, they did use some of our chairs. You know, normally we don't give out the chairs, but in this case, you know, since we've done it in the past, and that is on,
Friday, May 17th.
what's this Friday?
I'm pretty sure.
Really? Could be.
Because I knew it worked right with our commission meeting.
Oh, okay.
And Lynn has said that he has the trailer and that he'll just come and load them up.
Okay,
You know how many they're looking for, Larry?
I don't,
He never gave an amount.
so we'll give them some of those probably in the leftovers from in the basement probably, not the ones upstairs, right? Probably the ones from the basement,
Yeah,
yeah, because our better ones are upstairs,
yeah.
Yeah, we don't want the tips ruined on them
no,
with Memorial Day and stuff coming up, so.
Right.
And the thing being used every weekend, so.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
How many do we have downstairs? Quite a few?
oh yeah,
Yeah, there's quite a few down there.
and there's extras, I think, on racks down there too. I believe.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're borrowing these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. When you said give, yeah, just wondering that, so.
Yeah, they'll bring them back.
You need a motion to approve that, Larry?
Yes.
Second.
Tim, you must have made a motion.
I think so. It's like being at an auction.
Further discussion? Tim?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Touch the truck, Riverboat Days.
We received an email asking if the city of Washburn would want to participate in the Touch a Truck. I believe after talking with somebody from the Riverboat Days Committee, they would be a part of the parade as well, and then set up. I'm not exactly sure. I believe they plan on doing it right out here, and then if the city has any piece of equipment that would be interested in being in the Touch Truck.
So I guess my concerns and thoughts on it is, first of all, we would want to check with Endorf insurance-wise. And then second of all, it's a weekend, which we don't have any staff on hand, so we would want staff to be there consistently to make sure that, the equipment someone isn't crawling over the hood or whatever, so that means that's time and a half. And I can see for like a businesses or something like that, it's more appropriate than I think for a government taxpayer entity, to participate in this. So I guess my opinion is that we would, thank them for asking us, but decline on, putting something in there, because we don't even know if we have one of our staff that wants to come in, to man the thing, so.
Right, well, my thought is, if we were gonna do it, we would have to have our staff volunteer to do it.
Right.
I don't think we should be paying them overtime.
Right, yep.
That week, we're gonna be pretty deep into overtime by the end of the week already anyway.
You guys are gonna have a busy week already,
Yeah.
so. Good point, yeah.
So if you would want a motion to decline, or?
Yes.
Okay, I would so move.
Can I ask something? Have we ever had city commissioners fill in like that, or is it just strictly the employees?
It has to be somebody that can operate it too.
Okay, what kind of equipment would you be talking about now?
They mentioned the payloader, things like that, so we do have a motion on the table, so we can discuss afterwards.
Okay, we have a motion to deny, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Now
a
we
second,
can- now we
okay,
can
now
discuss.
let's continue with
Yeah.
discussion, so.
Have we ever had city commissioners sit in on anything like this during the Riverboat Days or anything? That's my
I don't think
question.
we've ever done it before.
We've never done it.
Since I've been here, or
Okay.
even I guess that I can remember growing up, that the city's never.
I don't
Okay,
ever
but-
remember anything.
Does anybody want to volunteer, I guess? I'd have to ask them.
I don't-
Yeah, like I said,
One I know will not be here that weekend. Our new employee did start today, but I didn't want to push that on him his very first day, so.
Zach is gonna be gone, okay. Yeah, and then, the new employee would be two new.
He told me.
I was just curious, it's just a
Yeah.
question I had.
Yeah.
I won't be
Adam,
here.
I'm sure you're gonna be busy doing other things anyway, so.
yes. But like I said, we're gonna have at least 10 hours overtime already, probably, by the end of that week, because of not only,
Well, like I said, it'd be volunteer.
yeah, it's that weekend plus the
Yeah.
other stuff going on, so.
All right, we have a motion on the table to, not do this, so we'll take a vote. Tim?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I guess I have something to add to that. That's
Go ahead.
right. If they'd schedule something like that during regular business hours, then maybe it'd probably be more feasible.
Right, because we'd already have staff here.
Yeah.
I don't understand, because we're doing it at the library, their touch a truck event.
we already agreed to do that, I believe, and that's on a Monday. I like-
Somebody who is not here anymore agreed to do
Oh,
that.
did they?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, that'll be a
Yeah.
future meeting, okay?
Yeah.
But that's during the week during your regular business. Right, which is makes more sense. But-
You know, not only that, you know, we're gonna have to take time to clean the equipment.
That's
You know,
true.
and that's gonna take a good half a day at least, you know, with the, pressure washer and the steamer and stuff, you know. So it's a little more involved than just showing up. So,
Makes sense.
but yeah, I like that idea during work time. Yeah,
Yep.
A little different.
Yep.
Okay. Commission room audio. It's a big list here.
Yeah, do you have those?
Yeah, do you want them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got quotes from 2 different companies.
I think we're ready for this first.
Premier Audio, and Blue Hawk Audio and Video, so both from Bismarck. Both quotes are for a new camera, new microphones, and let's see, and for an under TV speaker or sound bar.
Okay.
Because we've tried to use this recently in the past, the sound just doesn't really come out there.
Quotes are almost identical.
Well, they're quite a bit different. So if you look at the Blue Hawk one,
I meant the price. Yeah, maybe that.
well, they're close. The Blue Hawk one ends up being
Oh, I see.
6,100 or so. The other one is 5,600. They're quite a bit different. The Blue Hawk Audio one is, for both of them, the camera will go on top of the TV. The camera will be put on the TV will put on a swivel mount, so we can move it out, and it's going to shoot down in this direction, so it gets everybody's face right here that's on the commission. And for the Blue Hawk one, the microphones connect over to the camera, and then the camera goes over to the computer in Chelsea's office. For the Premier Audio one, it's more like we have now. The camera and the microphones meet at a mixer, then it goes over. So different styles, but which one's better? They're probably a horse piece, honestly.
Have you ever dealt with any of the?
None of these companies?
Yeah.
No.
Have you got to demo or go down to see anything, or do they?
No, they both came up here, took a look at the area, and this is what they came up with. I'm going to say that the Blue Hawk quote, this system is designed to work together. For the Premier Audio quote, they're just different pieces put together into a mixer and moved over. They're both going to work fine.
Since you work with this stuff more than what we usually would have any hands on, which one do you think would be the best one?
The Blue Hawk one already takes into account that we want to control it from Chelsea's office. This Premier Audio one is assuming that we're going to have a computer in here. So to incorporate it in the same way, to move it over to Chelsea's office, you're probably paying another $400, which makes the price difference move to going to be almost the exact same. But like I said, the Blue Hawk one, they're kind of designed to work together because it's the same part, same system.
So when you say they're talking about a computer over here, that would be a computer station here or something you just plug in when you use it?
You could do either.
Because you still have to get it uploaded somewhere. I mean, could you do that with a computer here, but it'd be just easier just going across Chelsea?
It's easier to go and do it in Chelsea's office.
That's what I would think.
Yeah. We'd have to set up a table or something if we were going to do it in here.
Yeah, I don't like that idea.
But like I said, this one can be changed to just increase the price to get that cable that'll go that, whatever, 15 meters or whatever it is.
Would that computer be in here 24/7 then too?
Like I said, we would probably change this so that we could just do the same thing.
Sure.
It's gonna cost another $400 or $500.
But if it was here, it'd probably be
It
here.
would probably, it's just
Yeah,
a
I don't
pain to
want
move a
that.
desktop, yeah.
I don't either.
Are both programs upgradable?
Good question. So this Blue Hawk, it's a one system, so it's not really upgradable. If you wanted a new system, you'd have to replace the whole thing. The advantage to the Premier Audio one is it's different independent pieces that are hooked together. So if you wanted to upgrade over time a better camera, then you sort of switch out the camera. You want better microphones, you switch out the microphones.
But the idea is to have really good camera microphones, man. I mean, I
Right.
hope we're getting top of the line stuff here.
Well, it's not top of the line. It's good. You could pay 4 or 5 times more.
Well, I get that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the
Roll's
sound
right.
will be better.
Yeah, because it's really hard if you watch these
When we're live like this, it's not as bad, but when
Yeah.
I have to go back and download meetings and upload them, it's terrible.
Yeah, I know I've watched parkour ones before, and man, you get about, if you're lucky, about every 5th or 6th word.
And
It's really bad.
that's because the system we're using, it records in the sub mode, which is lower quality. What we do for these meetings is that we record straight
Yeah.
during the meeting, which makes our meeting higher quality than the
They're
ones
still
that
not the
don't.
greatest, but.
Still not the greatest, but yeah, the parkour ones are rough because
Mhm.
they're downloaded in the lower bit rate.
Okay, now you said that the Blue Hawk would be directly back to Chelsea's, correct?
Yes, that one's already taken that into account. Yep.
Okay, now if we use the other one and you said to run that upgrade to Chelsea's office with that system would be another $400 or $500?
Probably 400, yeah. Very long USB cables are very expensive. That's what we would need.
What would we do with it in your office? Like just control the start recording, stop
Yeah,
recording?
same thing we do now. Yep.
So could you just virtual desktop over to this one? Like if it was hidden somewhere or something like that, you could just like.
You could, but then you're also buying another computer for here. That's not in here also, by the way.
Oh, it's not.
No, it
Okay,
is not.
I'm sorry. I
Yep.
thought it was. Yep. Okay.
Yep, that is not part of this Premier Audio quote. Yep.
And then replacement parts for the Blue Hawk, are those readily available? Do they have to be specifically like for Vadio? Like it couldn't be just a
Yes.
separate.
Yep, 'cause they-
or whatever.
Like I said, the microphones for that quote will plug into the camera and then go over.
But there, you can buy replacement parts.
Yes, but that specific model,
Oh,
most
yeah,
likely.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Unlike the other one where you could probably mix and match different stuff.
So the first system you're talking about here, Premier.
Yep.
Cameras do change clarity and microphones do change in pickup sound and stuff as you
Mhm.
go along. Things are upgrading all the time to better receiving or sending. Would it make more sense to go with the other one where we could change out individual pieces rather than changing out the whole system if they upgraded to something far better?
If there were plans to do it in the short term, yes. But 10, 15 years down the road, even the mixer's gonna need to be
Okay.
upgraded, probably.
So you're recommending Blue Hawk?
The Blue Hawk one's gonna be easier to work with, let's just say that. The Premier Audio one's more upgradable, the Blue Hawk one is simpler.
Actually, their quote's gonna be about $350 less because they got tax on it.
For which one? Oh, yes, Blue Hawk, yeah, good point. That one's done on here, right?
I guess one more thing, for Blue Hawk, since it's an incorporated system, does that come with like any sort of warranty or anything like that? Because it's their own product?
I'm gonna assume it does. I don't know that for
Yeah,
sure.
and that's sizing it too, because if it's just
Yeah.
like a mishmash of parts, then it's, I mean.
Oh, for the Premier Audio one?
Yeah, where you can warranty the work, 'cause I'm sure that they do great work, like it's hard to warranty every single individual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'd have to do any warranty through them.
Or does every part have a different?
Different warranty,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
But honestly, I did like their quote more because they had, you want more information, click here, and you could go into each individual
Yes, there's,
thing
yes,
instead of like,
very detailed.
what is
Yes, it is.
SR 9999, and then you gotta Google it and try to find it where it was.
I know.
a little bit better presentation, but that's nothing.
They're both gonna be great systems, I think.
Both are gonna include the full motion on the TV wall mounting and everything?
Both quotes include the swivel mount for the TV, yes. Now that I'm looking at it, the Premier Audio quote doesn't have a sound bar under the TV, it has a speaker in the ceiling. It's just same thing, different location.
I guess if they would, I mean, you say there's different qualities, if they would give a demo, is it worth going down and kind of getting the visual on the quality, or is that?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if they have, I guess I could ask. Like these places usually do like bigger stuff, so this is like kind of the small time for them. Yeah.
I would almost think they'd be comparable, but.
They're gonna be, like I said, they're both gonna be way better than what we have now.
Yeah.
We're using the security system to stream meetings now. That's what we're doing, so it's low quality.
So both systems are very adaptable to plugging other things into it besides,
No. Like I said, the Premier Audio quote is going to be the one that has interchangeable parts. The Blue Hawk quote is going to be simpler because they're the same brand. Yeah.
Sometimes simple is better.
Yeah. So especially for something like this, you know, it's fun with the mix mess of parts, then you can like tinker and upgrade this,
Yep.
upgrade that, but is someone like looking to do that, or are we looking to just get this done and ready and good to go?
Right.
You know?
Looks like the installation on the Blue Hawk is a lot less than the integrated.
Yeah, because there's less pieces to it, would be my guess.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like quite a bit less actually. Because they were at, it's almost double the cost. Install labor's, about almost $1,200 for the one, and the other one's only like $650.
Yeah. So I guess if you're looking at it that way, the parts are probably going to be of a higher quality for the Blue Hawk one because you're paying more for them.
Make a recommendation.
In this case, simpler is probably better. I would personally probably go with the Blue Hawk one.
After reviewing, I'd second that.
Okay, we need a motion.
I motion to approve the Blue Hawk one.
Second.
Further discussion? Jim?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
no,
Yes. Okay.
Pardon?
You seconded
I
it?
seconded Keith, made the motion.
2025 police contract.
So,
So what I see here, it looks like it's going up like, what, roughly $3,500 a year?
4,300, I thought.
4,300?
I think so, yeah. After doing the last one.
Yeah, I sent you the 25 and the 24 along with the call to service, so you would know if it's,
Yeah, it was about 4,300.
okay.
Yeah, which is still pretty reasonably considering, how many other prices have gone up and that sort of thing. They do great work, so I guess the recommendation would be to approve it after kind of going through the feed zone and all that.
is that 4,300 a year or?
For the year.
For the year,
of the
yeah.
contract, yeah.
I make a motion, we approve it?
Second.
Discussion.
Just one question, do we normally do monthly, quarterly?
We currently pay monthly.
Monthly, okay.
If you want to continue with that, that would have been my question, if we're going to continue with monthly or go quarterly.
Yeah.
We're currently paying monthly.
I think keep the money in our account as long as we can.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
yep. So,
There's been some concern about, which, obviously it's the next, another agenda item, parking, You know, we have issues with parking in town, you know, and I've had some complaints. I, you know, talked with the homeowner, and I said, you know, we contacted the police department, and they, you know, ticketed and it got moved. But I said, you know, it would be on the agenda. But since we're on the police contract, I might as well bring it up now.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's issues also with dogs, you know, that things just, you know, these deputies, when they're driving around, they see stuff, they should, you know, they're supposed to enforce our ordinances.
And I think it's been a couple of years since we've actually, you know, visited with them. So I guess my suggestion that whoever would have especially whoever would have the next police portfolio, you know, or before the commission, but it might be better off for the commission to discuss their concerns with whoever would have the portfolio and go up there and express those concerns, because I agree, it's, you know, parking is an issue. And, you know, some of them are very diligent in enforcing, others just kind of drive by. And so it's a contract that we have, and, you know, like we've been told, we're a customer there, so if we have a complaint, that we need to visit with them about it, you know, because we are a customer of theirs. So, but, I guess that's just my thoughts, is that, we appreciate what, you know, what they do for us, but there are some areas that definitely do need to be stepped up, so.
They do. You know, I mean, it says, Sheriff's Department will investigate and address ordinance violation complaints and will proactively enforce ordinance violations for specific circumstances agreed to by the sheriff and the city. So we definitely need to have a sit down, I think, and you know, get that worked out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna bring up the dog thing in my portfolio,
Yeah.
if you want,
We can wait with that.
okay,
That's
okay,
fine.
yep.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments, anything?
Yeah, just thinking out loud is as calls come in, and then if you hear about it, you know, transfer to portfolio, like you said, and then just the bullet points of the things that are coming up, and just, you know, monthly or quarterly, talk to them, I suppose, and but collecting the information, because the commissioner, unless you get a direct call, you may not know all that.
Right.
To go up to them, I guess, you know?
That communication.
Communication, that's key.
And they, you know, and they have, with me anyway, I think they've always been very, very receptive,
Yeah.
you know, to our concerns and that type of thing, so it's,
Okay.
they have a big area to cover, it's a big county, and I'm sure things fall through the cracks, you know, so.
Yeah, and we're not asking for the world, just
Yep.
step up a little bit, so.
Yep.
Okay. With that, we have motion second. Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. Okay, street repair and gravel. So, you know, we're gonna have a lot of street repair this year. Oh my gosh. And then also we need to gravel our alleys, our gravel streets. You know, we need to do it. It's been a long time, you know, and we're getting a lot of complaints on it. You know, so, I did visit with the guy that has a gravel pit right outside town, which is nice. Gravel's $8 a ton. Pretty good price, you know, and it's pretty decent gravel. So, but we probably have to hire somebody to haul it in. You know, with our trucks, it would take forever, you know, and that's just not gonna work, you know. I did talk with Chris. He knows some guys with some belly dumps that, you know, we could probably get it done fairly quickly.
Would you kind of strategically pile it around town so it doesn't have to be moved so much twice? You know, as far as if you're graveling, you know, a bigger gravel road, just to put it there versus us putting it on a big pile and then.
Oh, yeah, no,
Right.
oh, yeah, it would be on the road.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Except for maybe alleys that you can't get into, that type of thing, so.
Yeah, most of them we can.
Yeah, okay.
But we also need a reserve file as well.
Yeah, well, absolutely, reserve file,
Yeah.
file too, so, you know, we need to do it, and I, you know, this is why we have, you know, 1 cent sales tax, it is infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know, I think we need to authorize that being done, you know. I don't know who, we got, supposed to go out and get bids for gravel haulers, but,
You'd be lucky if you even find a gravel hauler this time.
we would
of
be
year.
lucky if we can.
Yeah.
Everybody is so busy.
Yeah.
I think we need to just move forward with this and get it done.
Okay.
And then also, let's deal with that first.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we actually, I don't have a figure, but we need to move forward and get it done. It could cost $50,000-$60,000. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'll be that much, but it could be.
What do you say, $8 a ton or $8 a truckload?
A
Ton.
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 Yeah.
So, do we know approximately how many tons we think we'd need?
I would say
A lot.
we're probably gonna need between 500 and 1,000.
How much?
500 and 1,000.
Tons.
So could we get
Yeah.
just a ballpark rate of what a trucking company would charge, so we can at least have it kind of figured budgetary before we?
I don't, we can, I mean, I can try and get that and we could, postpone it to a special meeting.
Yeah, I think we should move forward, but maybe not in approval of it, but as far as move forward with some quotations, with what it's gonna cost.
Right.
It's gotta be done, but instead of just kind of blindly
Yeah.
saying we're gonna do this,
Good.
to move forward with some,
Yeah.
and get some quotations for trucking. We got the quotation for the gravel. If we could come up with, I don't know if you could come up, Adam, with, how many alleys, how many streets, that type of thing, so we'd have, I don't know if you go by linear feet, square feet, or whatever, to try and figure it out.
Are
I
there
don't
trucks in
know.
some of the smaller stuff?
I don't know, how do you do that, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, the best way would be to go do an assessment of the alleyways.
Mhm.
If you can tell if some are just don't have anything there.
Well, almost all of them.
Almost all.
Okay,
Yep.
and then the next thing would be like, well, how much do you want for thickness?
Yeah.
You're talking about a couple inches, 4 inches, 8 inches.
Well, we don't
We
need.
need
3, 4.
three or 4 inches, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you have to do a quick assessment on,
Yeah.
and that could be something just walking or driving down the alleyway and saying, hey, it's all dirt, there's no
Yep.
gravel on it. And you can do a linear foot calculation
Yep.
for that.
And you really can't go off of the fact that we have 20-foot wide alleys, because none of them are 20 feet wide
I
anymore.
know.
They're just a single path down the middle that's gonna get, gravelled unless you cut down trees and.
But we do have some gravel streets,
Yep.
that
Yep.
need it also.
Yep.
Which brings us to another thing is, some of these need to be built up before we gravel. Sometimes, like behind Corbett, there's a big hole there.
Yeah.
Big hole, man.
You can't just throw a bunch of gravel in there. There's a lot of variables involved with this,
Yeah, I think I think we need to move forward with coming up with a plan, an estimate, it's not gonna be right on the nose, because
And this doesn't have to be decided immediately.
And then do some surveying of the streets and alleys and stuff.
and I think even just a general consensus amongst the commission is probably all that's needed to go ahead and for the streets to go ahead and pursue this, and then come
Yeah.
back with a recommendation at a future date.
Yeah, an approximate tonnage, and then just even
Yeah.
the trucker could give this much per load.
So are we better off, Eric, going with 3 to 4 inches if we want some long-term, versus,
Yeah, and then
just putting 2 inches
And
over?
then what type of traffic is on what alley?
Yeah.
Some alleys are getting some big trucks that might be going down them, some alleys might not. They might
Right.
just have, a car or pickup going down every once in a great while.
Yeah,
So,
Sure.
you guys probably have a better idea of where the traffic is and how much it is.
like your commercial alleys and stuff like that.
Yeah, yep,
Because some have garbage trucks going down, some don't.
yep.
Right.
Those garbage trucks will make a big difference on it.
Can we do the important ones this year, maybe do half this year and half next year, if the expense is too much?
Well, I think the 1 cent will cover it, Don, and who knows what gravel's gonna do, so even if we had to stockpile it and not get all done, I'd like to get a quotation on doing it all, because we probably won't get it all done. Are you gonna include the Hawkins, or is that a separate thing?
That's a separate thing. That's gonna be a road rebuild, and I
Yeah.
think that was figured in on the price. the
Okay,
gravel and
so
everything.
so this gravel won't be used for that, even though it might come from the same pit.
Right.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, I guess if everybody agree, I think the consensus is to pursue this and come back with some quotations and a recommendation.
Okay, and then moving on to street repair, the asphalt, not sure where to start. Man, that's, I suppose we can start measuring spots. It's gonna be a lot of repair.
Yeah.
You talking about patch jobs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Last time we did a bigger patch job would have been like 2017.
Yeah.
Timeframe.
Been a while.
It was a year after the last street job, I think, wasn't it? Adam?
Well, for that big stuff, yeah, but we did patching last year and the year before.
Right. I'm talking like when,
Most of the bad stuff it's not that big. At least
There's
stuff
some
we
big
can fix
spots.
anyway, but
There's
yeah,
some big spots.
there are, but not like what he's thinking. You look, when they did Northgate is what you're thinking? Yeah, it was basically the entire road for like 50 feet or whatever. Yeah.
So that'll be another thing that we definitely, have to try and put something together on that.
I can talk to Darren, assuming that if we want to go with quality again, see what his schedule's like.
Yeah.
If we want to do it earlier in the year or just wait until the fall. I mean, some of them are pretty bad, but
A lot depends on,
yeah.
how busy everybody is. But and that's another thing, that's gonna cost way more than gravel, definitely. We could get into $200,000 really.
yeah, and it depends on what type of repair you want to do, because those guys can do mill and overlay. Last time that we did that bigger one with Darren, Adam, you guys did all the prep work.
Yeah.
You guys did all the saw cutting,
Yeah.
put gravel in, so it was all prepped and ready. They
Yeah.
had to come and tar
Makes it
or
way cheaper,
oil it
yeah.
and, patched it. So that
Typically,
was,
that's what you do every year, isn't it?
Unless it's really big, yeah. Yep.
But there are some really big spots.
So do we need to come up with some type of a determination so we would know? I mean, because the bigger the order, the more you have a chance of bringing someone in versus a few little spots. Yeah,
Well-
I think. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, but are we still thinking about doing a road project next year? Because some of the bigger ones might be able to wait if we're gonna do across the highway next year.
Maybe.
yeah,
That's something we were gonna talk about.
I got it on.
Yeah.
later on.
And then we could just, this year we could do the individual spots.
And their patching is, some of it is put into the budget every year, so.
Yeah. We do have some money for patching, but not
Not a super, what do we got, like 40,000?
for 40, yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's
Which this year isn't
45.
gonna go very far, but
But depending if you want to do the big,
I know, yeah.
like by Super Bumper's one of them, that little road that goes towards,
Yeah.
the apartments, that road is shot.
Yeah.
But if you want to wait till next year on that one, then, I mean, we'll have a crew in town for it.
Even
If we do.
even like
Yeah,
up the hill
and
here,
include it.
by,
Yep.
Sylvia's
Six.
place.
Yep.
Sylvia Thompson. I mean, a
Six to
big
the curb.
section, there, big section
Yep.
that come out, the whole road, But anyway, we'll work on that too, with the recommendation on,
Yep.
on that, so.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up, so we talked about it.
We have a recommendation for the gravel and stuff?
We have a consensus.
We're gonna work on it.
And then the road repair, I guess I had just one other
Yeah.
thought, and maybe just a question for Eric. Like, by the time that water, accumulates, it comes down those, streets, or, basically, by the time it gets there, almost like by the time it gets to Main Avenue, it overruns the gutter that shoots across. And, you look, the blacktop on either side of the curb that shoots it across, should that be concreted back another 2 or 3 feet?
You talking like the valley gutter?
Yeah,
He means right out here in front of the,
because you
For the
look at it,
city hall.
it's crumbled away from that, so should that be widened in concrete? Because the water does accumulate.
It's spilling out of the valley gutter as it crosses the street? you're
Yeah,
Talking about?
instead of making it deeper, because
it doesn't even go in the valley gutter anymore.
Yeah.
The concrete stayed the same level, the asphalt sunk, so it just goes
It
into
follows
the,
the asphalt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
And that'd be something where, they could do hopefully it's in good enough condition, they could do a mill and overlay on that. Get the asphalt back up. Is that a 6 foot wide valley gutter, or is that a?
Concrete gutter's pretty close to that too.
6 foot? No,
No, it's not.
way less.
No.
Yeah, I guess my
4 foot or whatever?
Yeah,
my
it's small.
theory or thought what was happening, it was overrunning, was undermining that blacktop, and then basically causing it to crumble away. It was kind of my theory of what was happening. And I was just wondering if a guy should concrete it wider to take more water.
Yeah,
through
you could make the valley gutter a little bit wider. You could make it a little bit deeper, but then you're gonna have a speed bump across it. So, you know, typically we do a 6 foot wide valley gutter that should be able to handle that. But of course, when we got big rains coming down the downtown here, that can be a lot of water too. So,
Yeah.
but you know, if the valley gutter needs to be replaced, that could be something we'd look at doing. But for sure, the asphalt could be milled back and overlaying again. So.
Yeah, or instead of overlaying, cut back, but then just concrete it instead of like.
Yeah.
Overlay, you know.
That's certainly
instead of
something we could
like,
do. I maybe go take a look at it too here.
Sure.
Hey, Adam, what we were talking about earlier on that, area out in front of Gedrose there in my place, would that come under a street repair project, or would that be a whole different project?
Eventually it would be, yeah. I mean, it's sunk quite a bit there, as you know. The asphalt's still in good shape, it's just, there's a big divot because the ground is settled from the 13 foot dig to get down to that sewer, well, however many years ago that was, 6, 7 years ago.
That would be a good one to wait with for a street project, I think, because that's gonna take quite a bit of
Well, it's gonna,
fill. for one
gonna have
thing.
to add to it, yep.
But, I mean, it could be in the patch too. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. That's something we'll look at on the recommendation.
Just asking.
I agree with Jamie on the valley gutter. Yeah. They always seem to be way too narrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, instead of going deeper, because I think if you go deeper, those trucks going across it are just gonna put more pressure when it hits the other side anyways, so.
Yeah.
So,
Or, widen it out, yeah. We done with that one? Okay. So millings, this outfit got a hold of me. They're going to be milling from Washburn to Cole Harbor. And they were wondering if we wanted any millings. They're not free. They wanted $250 for a belly dump of millings. My initial thought was,
Excuse me, Larry, and
Go ahead.
that's transportation too?
yes,
Okay,
yeah, that's hauling it air.
okay.
My initial thought was putting that by the boat ramp, all under the bridge, all the way to the boat ramp. I just did some calculations. I figured if we go that area about 4 inches thick, it'd cost us about $5,000. But I would almost think we would need a packer, a roller, if we were going to do that, so we would have to rent one of them. But I think it would definitely make that area a lot more usable, because it's pretty solid there, but there is really no gravel or anything there, basically. I mean, there is, but it's whatever's there is packed hard.
Yep.
But I thought that might be a good way to fix up that area.
Could we also use those millings instead of hauling gravel in? Could we just use millings for the alleyways?
I don't know if I would want to do that. I mean, it's possible, I guess. The bad part about millings is once they're down, you can't blade them, you know what I mean? They're solid, so to speak,
So in other words, if you get a pothole in alley, it's like a broke up piece of asphalt. You gotta figure out another way to patch it.
I guess this would be, I mean, I kind of like the idea, except this would kind of be a kind of a trial thing to see how it works. If it works out great, but if for some reason it doesn't work out great and we have it all over town, then we're dealing with a bigger issue, so.
Because we know what gravel does.
You can experiment in my alleyway.
I have a question for you then. If they're selling it for $250 a truckload,
Yeah,
what do they do with it if they don't sell it to anybody?
good question. So I'm gonna, if we decide to go with this, I'm gonna try and deal on it, so.
Yeah, because what do they do with it then if they don't sell it to anybody?
That's a lot of millings.
They have somebody interested in a bunch of it.
That's what they say, anyway.
I didn't hear that from the contractor.
Oh.
So I
A
don't,
lot.
I know they're reserving it, but they do have somebody that's interested in a lot of it.
Yeah,
So, is it a pretty hot commodity here?
Yeah, it'll get used. They'll sell it.
Yeah.
They're gonna use some of it back in the road again too. You know, recycled asphalt pavement, and they can have, you know, some of it in the main line, and they can put some of it on more of it on the shoulders. So or reuse some of it, but
Is it worth $250 a truckload?
well,
You should know that.
for a belly dump load, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I guess exactly if it's worth that much.
That's like,
You would like
that's
to get a
like
gra-
$10 a ton.
you like to get a gradation on it too, and see how good of a product they're,
Okay.
you know, because they're gonna mill it off and see how good. But typically, it's all done well because the DOT is gonna be controlling how that process works.
Mhm.
You know.
But I'm sorry.
Wasn't the alley behind the post office, that was a Millings alley for a little bit. It did pothole quite a bit.
Yeah,
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of big, anyway, I think there were a lot of big trucks on that, going through there.
Yeah, and we would fix it with more milling, so we would need some on
Yeah,
standby, so we'll make sure we get enough to.
yeah. What was I gonna say?
So with the stuff in the milling, you're saying that once you put it down in place and it's down a while and you drive on it, then it gets really solid?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot harder to blade it because
It is.
it's got all the oil in it, so it's gonna bond together.
It's gonna bond together. So you're actually making in the driveway, in an alleyway, you're actually making it like a solid road rather than a gravel road there.
Yep.
I guess one thing, like living on Main Avenue and when you watch it rain, I mean, it takes like a couple hours for it to even become clear in the gutters because of all that gravel and stuff that comes out of the gutter, or out of the alleyways. I mean, you watch all that, it's like gravel is just gonna just wash out. I mean, it does. So, I mean,
In areas, yeah, it does.
In our spots over town when it rains, that there's gravel everywhere, or after every rain that it's sitting there.
Yeah.
Is that the same gravel that affects our sewer system then too?
It's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they plan on doing this in June.
Do they have a limit on what we can get?
He didn't say when he was in here.
He said that, they got a lot of people wanting it. He said he would, definitely make sure we could get what we wanted. The thing is, if you do all the alleys and everything else, it's gonna be a lot bigger project. Cause you're gonna have a roller, you're gonna have, and these guys aren't gonna wanna sit and wait, they're gonna wanna go, right? They're not gonna bring it in here and then wait for another alley later. They're gonna wanna go, you know what I mean?
So you'd almost have to stockpile it if you're gonna do it all, then move it twice.
You have to move it twice, and then you need a roller and, other things,
well, that would help them fit it into their schedule easier. I mean, if you stockpile it, then they could.
Yeah, I mean, you can stockpile it down there, there's plenty of room, so, yeah.
Where, at the,
Dump the boat ramp. If you wanna put it on an end and then work your way back and forth.
well, if you put, say, 20 truckloads there, you're not gonna stockpile it. Like at the boat ramp,
Yeah,
I figure it'd be like 20 truckloads.
yeah.
Yeah, where are you gonna stockpile all that? Especially when people wanna use the boat ramp.
Well, I mean, it's either that or you're hauling it up and down the
Well, I'm just
road
saying.
that's already collapsing,
Could you do it up on top of the boat ramp, up between River Egg and that, because isn't there a parking spot up there, I could
Right.
stockpile?
There is, but
Technically,
you'd have
there
to-
is.
you'd have to back in, and that would be a pain. I don't know how you'd even do that.
And then you'd have to haul it around and come down the other way, cause you wouldn't wanna go down that hill, probably.
Well, that's what I was thinking, they'd go down that hill and then go back up the other road, otherwise they'd probably tear that road up.
Yeah.
Because couldn't you dump it down that hill and take your road grader and keep working it in, and that payloader hauling it down would compact, so.
Well, I don't think we wanna put it on that hill, because we need, that's a whole nother issue, is that hill. First of all, it needs to be wider, so we can actually have some ditches in there. I mean, it's wide enough to get a vehicle on there. You know, that's just a mess. There's a reason it's closed off. It's a mess. Should have never been put in to begin with, but
It's there.
it's there. Maybe we should just forget the millings for now, or get some of the stockpile and just stick with gravel on everything. I don't know. That's why I'm bringing this up.
I would say we should get X amount of millings. I think we should stockpile them somewhere.
Where we stockpile.
Or if they do that construction project, will we have them from, if we do that project next year, would there be millings from up there that we could?
Possibly some.
Yeah, I mean, there's, what we do know, because we did, you know, we got the geotech report out of all 3 areas that the city was interested in doing a project on, and we know that we have a thick asphalt section and little gravel, right? So they run the reclaimer, they could get all that off. If there's an area, I know we're looking at Custer Drive as being potentially one of the streets that we work on. If there is an area that we could do some milling on, then we could just pull those millings too. So, but that's something we can discuss too.
But then, you know, like this last project we did, we were gonna use the millings, but they reused them up there.
Right.
So.
Right, they reused the millings because they had a 50-50 mixture
Yeah.
between gravel and millings.
Yeah,
And we got a really good price on the gravel-based
Yeah.
portion of that project, that's why the project was priced better.
It maybe was a bit of a, well, to some it was an eyesore, it wasn't to me, but at one time they stockpiled a bunch of them down by the old fertilizer plant.
Yeah.
You know, cause it's just gonna be temporary anyway, it's not gonna be like a permanent stockpile.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that road is like, how thick that road is going down to the park, though, as far as coming around, you know, by Wickline or something else.
It's a 4.5-inch asphalt section.
We don't want trucks in there.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
If I may ask real quick, like with the millings and stuff, I know we kind of got rid of some millings, like during the previous street project. These new ones are higher quality, or didn't we get rid
We
of
didn't
some
get rid
sort
of
of fill or
millings, no.
some sort of thing like that?
Being rid of millings, we got rid of, dirt.
Base gravel.
Oh,
dirt,
base dirt.
Oh, I
Yeah,
apologize, I thought it was.
Roads were built on dirt,
Yeah.
is what the problem was.
Yeah, because we
Oh.
put in an actual street section, you know, we had 8 inches of gravel and 4.5 inches of asphalt on the last project. We had to remove what was there before, so there's extra fill that was taken out. But all the asphalt millings were, the asphalt reclaiming used again.
Okay, sorry, my apologies, because it was like my first or second street meeting when we were talking about that, and we were, the word milling, this word, and now we're talking about like getting them from this place, and I was like, weren't we trying to find a place to get rid of those last one? But okay, that makes a lot more sense, thank you so much.
So if we would dump, say, like 20 loads down there by the boat landing and build that up, would we have to work on that right away then to get that built in? Or could we put it off to the side and still let people go down there until we had people available to do it?
Well, I don't know there's not enough room, in my opinion, to put 20 loads down there and
And
still
any
have
kind of
people
access.
use it,
Yeah.
Okay.
you know? I mean, it would have to be closed off while the work was being done. I don't know.
Yeah, if there wasn't room down there, I guess where you're saying by the fertilizer, technically that is a truck route. I mean, that Sixth
Right.
Street,
Like where?
Sixth Street's a truck route, so you could come back to Main Avenue. And,
You mean like going down to the old elevator?
yeah, if you stockpiled it there, I mean, if you couldn't do it immediately there, I guess there would be a truck route back there to get it there.
Yeah.
I like the idea of getting the millings, because
Truck
that
route
sounds
didn't-
like a pretty
the
good
truck route
stuff.
didn't cross the
To
road,
use.
trucks go to the elevators.
And if it's at a good price.
Jogging
Pardon?
into the-
And if it's a good
Where the
price.
fertilizer plant is.
250 sounds like a good
The
price.
fertilizer plant, they would unload
Pretty
it by
good
rail, and then they just took it out in a small truck.
I like that idea.
Yeah, you roughly, because you can kind of cut into that grass there, so you got
Yeah.
about 100 feet
Right.
of non-truck route.
Yep.
You know, I really have a thought too, though, you know, say you start by the old fertilizer plant and then you start hauling down through the park to get it there. We have a slide area, who knows what that
You
is.
would have to go the other way. You'd have to go the other way.
You would have to go all the way around,
You'd have to go down
Yeah.
Main Street to do it.
yeah, so.
Yeah, you wouldn't
That'd be
want
a
to go.
lot of double handling.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, Just looking at the stockpile options.
Yeah.
If you stockpiled, could it be purchased by the citizens of Washburn? Or, so their roads aren't washing into your, or their parking lots aren't washing into your street?
Anything's possible. I don't know how else to answer that. I mean, anything's possible, you know,
Is it, I think it, you know, for citizens, it might be nice if they could access it for their properties too.
yeah.
As long as there's nothing against resale, I don't know what.
That would be the only thing.
But if there's like against reselling,
Is there,
that's what I'm saying, as long as there's nothing against reselling.
I don't know why
you
there would
purchase
be.
from the
I mean, you know,
I don't know.
Larry, is it the DOT that was in here
no,
soliciting to sell it, or was it the
the
contractor?
contractor.
Contractor.
Oh, that's what I was saying with DOT, there's sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's a contractor, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Like I said, it was brought up, I said I would bring it up, so,
So when do you have to know by?
sooner the better, but June. You know, we can think about it some more, and, you know, there's so many things to think about, because, like I said, we got that hill coming up from the boat ramp, that is an absolute disaster. It just is, you know, and not only that, I mean, this could drag out all night, but the thing is, if you widen out that hill and reshape that hill, you know, a lot of that material could go over to the Hawkins Road, but then you're starting another project where you know, which would, you know, add more money to try and fix this, and then we gotta deal with the drainage, because the drainage runs down that road, you know.
Yeah.
The whole drainage up there runs right down the road.
Would it be cheaper for Chris to haul it closer? I mean, would it work into the project under budget? That he's getting the clay from over there if he's building up?
From that hill?
Yeah, to Hawkins.
Well, the problem is, you can't just start digging in there without a plan, you know, because you probably make it worse.
And a lot of that hill is cinder pile, so I don't know how much.
I
clay
think
goes
that's
up.
over further,
Okay,
most of it, I think right where
Closer to
that
where the
is, I
plant
think
used
it's
to be.
okay.
okay.
Chris and I were down there walking, and we talked about that. But we gotta fix the drainage. If we're doing that hill, we gotta fix the drainage going down that hill. Cause that whole area from, you know, when you turn in off the highway all the way to the bridge, all runs right down that hill.
Would that be better then, and then kind of fill in millings?
On the hill.
So what I was talking about, the buildings here was just on the bottom, not that hill. So, like I said, that would all have to be rebuilt in order to make it, you know, acceptable, put it that way.
Well, sooner or later, we're gonna have to, probably sooner, we're gonna have to commit to how many millings we want if there's that many people in line for it.
Yeah. So let's, you know what, let's think about this for a week. If we have to, we'll get a special meeting. And we'll try and get some more figures and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we'll go from there if that works for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's why.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, let's see.
Did we do anything about the gravel yet? A vote on it or anything?
We
No,
took
we're gonna get more,
We need, just need more information. We took
Okay,
a
that'll be
consensus.
a special meeting then as well?
We don't know.
Okay,
we'll see. Okay.
sounds good.
Okay, we already talked about parking issues, number of commissioners on each portfolio.
You wanna grab that, Keith? You brought it
Yeah,
up.
I guess I brought it up. It's just something that, might make more sense because, communication is difficult, obviously, and that sort of thing, but just, we've had different instances of people on the same portfolio, doing different things, not exactly communicating with each other, which is just what happens, you know?
Yep.
But in my opinion, at least, it'd probably be better just to have a single person involved with that. And obviously, if they need to talk to another commissioner or something like that, they're welcome to do that. But like for the first 6 months, I didn't even know if there was a junior and a senior. It's just like we both, because that was not explained to me anywhere. That I think it says it on the website,
But very rarely do I look at the website underneath my name to see my title to know what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not really on my to-do list. But beyond that, it would just give more cohesion to it, because then if there's a streets issue, you go to him, right? You go to this guy. If there's a police, you go here. My only thing might be with HR to still have two. It just kind of makes sense.
HR is not a
HR is not a portfolio.
What's
That's
that?
an assignment.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's always been talked about the HR portfolio, so I guess, yeah, it was mentioned that way. But yes, so as an assignment, I guess, never mind, because that's not what this agenda item is about. But just with the portfolios themselves would be just a much better idea, because then it would give responsibility as well. Because then if something wasn't done, it can't be like, oh, this guy or this guy. I'm not saying that that's been happening a lot. I'm just saying then you'd have that authority, but obviously coming back to commission, as well as that responsibility, being a single person on a portfolio.
I think that makes sense, you know, if, you know, we tried the two, and I don't know if it's actually working, you know, so,
Well, we changed it in my motion, so we changed it back by motion, so.
yes.
So I would move that we would go back to a single person portfolio starting in the new year, July 1st.
And to be clear, these are portfolios,
Right.
not assignments,
Right.
you know,
But
committee
single-
assignments.
Yeah, but a single person portfolio as in the past, starting July. July 1st would make the most sense, because that's when the new appointments, if there are any different ones, come out.
Correct.
Instead of doing it for 6 weeks.
Right, no, yeah, it would be July.
Yeah, so,
So each person would have two portfolios again?
one.
One portfolio.
Not two.
And sorry, that just made me remember something, because then it allows you to focus as well. Then you don't have these two things kind of intermingling, and I have to do this with the police and fire, I gotta do this with streets, whatever it may be. You can be more focused and fine tune them.
I actually like the
Excuse
redundancy.
me.
Let's get it, we gotta get a
Yeah,
second,
okay.
you guys.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Explain it, so we have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Yeah.
I really like the redundancy of two people on a portfolio, or one guy as a primary and then a second person as a secondary. And if the two people communicate, it works out really good, I think. The last 2 years have worked out really fantastic, I think. But that's my opinion, though. I don't know how the other groups are doing here, but I find it working really well. But that's my opinion again. I like this
Yeah,
two people on, you know, a junior and a senior, as I say.
yeah.
This would go back to like it was the first 2 years you were on the
Right.
commission, so.
I think it makes sense to go back, honestly. I just do. I think that way, you know, if you go to two different people, you can have two different, you know, ideas, whatever. You know, and then say, well, I'm gonna go talk to him instead of him, and you know, it's like, no, just we'll focus on one, that portfolio. And then if there's a thing, he'll go talk to the rest of the people, you know, or, you know, the portfolio will do well. I think it just makes sense.
Do you have something specific in mind that somebody's not doing their job, is what you're saying?
I don't think this is the place to discuss this. So,
No, I'm just asking.
I mean, there's just different instances where it might not have been intentional, but like, just heard report of like individuals kind of just doing their own thing and then not communicating with the other person, and then that's all. So like the other person's completely out of the loop. It's as if they aren't even on the portfolio, and the single person was just doing the stuff. So obviously no names or anything like that, but just some possible instances of that. And then also the possibility of having that as well. So then you could have, if there was more strong-willed individuals and less strong-willed individuals, the less strong-willed could shy back from their responsibility, and then you could have a single elected individual running two parts of it. That might be just imbalance.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just looking at, are you pinpointing certain individuals, is what I'm saying.
No,
I
not in this
don't
particular
think so.
case.
I don't think so.
Okay. No, and that's not my intention at all, because I think it could not even be an individual issue, but rather a misunderstanding or something like that. So I'm not going to impugn anyone or anything like that. But this is a system, from a system approach, I think the system of a single person works a lot better.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Per diem.
Per diem.
I know. Can we still talk about that one?
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
Okay, sorry. So what would that look like? Who would take what portfolios then, or how?
Well, the president assigns the portfolios as what was voted on, way back when, so.
So I would have water and sewer, you would have building and grounds, you would have police, you would have finance, and you
Well,
would have streets,
and
right?
June first, it would,
No, I mean,
July first.
oh, July first, if it stayed the same, yeah.
So would I still be on the airport then?
Okay, that's committee.
That's
not
committee, that's
portfolio.
not a portfolio.
And that would be decided after,
Right.
in July.
Just like the library, that's a committee.
Yeah.
Forestry.
There's only, what, 5 portfolios?
Yep.
That's 5, right?
Yes.
I guess that's the
Water,
example.
building
Water,
grounds,
sewer.
finance, streets, and police and,
Fire.
there's 5 portfolios.
So
But
I think
nothing
building
will
and airport is
change.
What I would be then with this going through at this. point.
Possibly.
Well,
Well,
It-
it's
it
gonna
is
stay the
today,
same
yeah.
right now until
Oh,
July first.
so it won't take effect till July first?
Correct.
Okay,
right,
gotcha.
because that's when the new,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, because we
Starting
might have
year
new
starts.
people, might not,
Yeah.
I mean, and then, we get everybody's opinion, but then the president decides, this is your portfolio, and then committees, then you talk that out amongst each other and see who wants what, so.
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Adam, I got a question, like, would it work, say you're in charge, but when we split this out to buildings and grounds and say streets, would it help anything for that commissioner who's on buildings and grounds would kind of work? Like you would take, like, for example, sewer and water, and then, I don't know, maybe like Zach buildings and grounds. So if there was an issue, then I work with him, and then you're focused on that, but you're still overseeing those guys.
be like a contact person?
Yeah.
I prefer everything to go through me,
Go
honestly.
through.
Yep.
Okay, so,
I would agree with that, because he is the superintendent, and, obviously he's not around, obviously you
Yeah.
go to whoever, but.
Because I think the way it is now is, it's him and then it's Zach after that, as far as
Right.
for that. And then it starts in the office with Chelsea and then down to Erica, so. Their responsibilities.
And that's why they pay him the money. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Per diem rates.
This one also me, I can do it if you guys.
Go
want.
for it.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so per diem rate,
You're
so.
warmed up, so go.
Sure, you could call it that, I guess. So basically, this would be just a much simpler system. So per diem rates, basically we got them from the state here, and these are put in by the legislature every
Correct.
2 years.
Every 2 years,
Every
yep.
2 years. So every 2 years, any sort of thing that would mention that in our handbook or whatever it may be would reference the century code. So then they would automatically update with the legislature, because then we would not have to revisit that, and that sort of stuff. We'd be basically just adopting the per diem rates of the state, which the functionality of that is that it gives someone a benchmark of, like, this is what you get for breakfast, this is what you get for lunch, this is what you get for dinner, instead of like one employee getting a $4 breakfast because they feel bad and they have to submit a receipt and they get $4, and someone got a $25 giant platter, just that sort of thing. It standardizes the procedure, which makes things more efficient. So just in a way to do that, it would be, you get this much per day, and that's what it is. So it's not that much like per receipt or whatever it may be, but rather you're going to something that your job is requiring you to do, this is what you get, like, no matter what. So then there wouldn't be extra overhead of the office staff checking receipts and that sort of stuff. It's an agreed upon amount that the individual would get when they're sent on an assignment by their employer. That's kind of the idea.
So I see there's restrictions on this, as far as like meals. Travel must begin before 7, I'm guessing what it sounds like, for breakfast. If it's after 7, then you do not get a breakfast meal, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then lunch, the same thing, you have to be before 11 and drive for at least 2 hours, is what it says, or something.
No, just get the time frame so that somebody's not leaving at 11 and then claiming breakfast as well. when they could have ate breakfast at home
Yeah.
or wherever else, but they're in travel by 11, so now they get lunch, and then if they're still in travel at 5 o'clock, they get dinner as well.
Is that the way we work it now in our system?
No, we have nothing. This is standard. This is, I mean, from the state follows it. There's other cities that follow it. It's making it more universal.
Makes sense.
And then the reason why it's broke out like that is because then you don't get a per day for a morning conference.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. If you're back at work at noon, you're not going to get the dinner portion included.
You also don't get lunch according to this. You're back by noon, 1 hour before and at least 1 hour after.
Yeah.
So if you got home at 12, then you wouldn't get lunch. It'd be,
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
You do a lot of traveling now, Adam. Do you,
I'd say a lot.
not a lot, but you do meals and stuff when you're out and about,
So when I go, because my travel is reimbursed through the state, because it's the water,
Mhm.
I just do the per diem. I don't even bother with bringing my receipts in. So
Okay.
I already do it like this.
Okay.
So this is when you're traveling, which means actual driving, or is this, what if you're at a conference?
If the meals aren't included, then yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the
If
meal's
they are, then
provided,
no.
then no.
Okay, so if you're at a conference and the meal is not provided at noon, even though you're not traveling, you're gone, which could be considered
Yes.
travel.
Yes.
But if it's provided, then you just don't pay.
No.
Is this something you guys like? I mean, this is something you guys.
I like it better.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I get the mileage part on page 2. So the lodging, when we go to conferences, doesn't the city,
I know I just printed it.
Yeah.
doesn't the city just pay that anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not talking about that. It was just added on, I guess. It was part of the document you
Okay,
printed.
well, it was, yeah, that's,
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
you know,
And we already do the mileage part.
and that is a per diem, so.
Yeah, and the mileage part's already included. I guess kind of what we were just looking about for the meals to put into our
Okay.
policy and adapt that.
Okay,
Makes sense.
that wasn't
Sorry.
actually stated, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So if we go to a motel, or you go to a motel, then you get paid 100% of the motel cost then?
The way I do it is that I get reimbursed from the city, and then the city files for reimbursement from the state.
Okay.
His will work that way with the water.
Hers won't. Yeah.
Mine won't. I've never stayed, I guess. Our conferences have either been in Bismarck or Minot. I've driven home. In Minot, I stay with my in-laws. Now, our fall conference is in Grand Forks, so we would have to stay, and that would probably just be put on with our city credit card.
So would you be covered under the meal plan then if you were in Grand Forks then?
Yes. They typically provide lunch for us, but yes.
So we're just looking to do the meal thing.
Yep.
Right.
And I know
understand
that when the conferences for us, when they do book them, they hold a block under these. A lot of times they give that special rate.
When you would go for these meals, would you use the city credit card then?
No,
You wouldn't? Okay.
If we're at your own pocket.
Why wouldn't you use the city credit card and just say you can't exceed this?
because what if you want more?
Yeah, what if you want more?
You gotta
Yeah,
pay then you gotta pay it back.
yeah, no.
That-
doesn't
no.
work.
Because he doesn't have to do book work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would move that we would make this change for meals.
I second it.
Further discussion? Tim?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Updated in my handbook, right?
Not yet. Yes, it is. When we did that, it was up there.
Blue Cross Blue Shield. Way too many papers here.
Vision and dental is going up just a little bit this year with our plan that we switched to last year. It's not a flat rate based on people. It is kind of a rolling one with ages and different things. Vision and dental will be going up a little bit, but not much. No, only dental. Vision is staying the same.
I think they're going up across the country, I think, on dental.
Yeah,
'Cause I
dental
got
I
an-
don't think has had an increase in at least 5 years.
Yeah, because I gotta know that mine hasn't increased in 10 years and it's going up, $7 a month. My dental.
So they're back on the back of the pages, I guess really what I could have printed for you. They have the current rates with the renewal rates for the dental, vision, and then health. Is on the previous page.
So real quickly, first page, second page, notice of alternate rate schedules. Which plan are you thinking of here?
We are staying on our current,
Which one?
the Blue Care Platinum 8250.
Second one from the bottom.
Yeah,
Second from the bottom?
yes.
Okay. Now, the rate showing here, is that include the dental and everything?
Correct.
That's, okay,
No,
no,
this is just health.
that's just health,
Yes.
okay.
Based on what our current enrollment is. So this will adjust a little bit based off when I get our new guy on there. But nothing really changed this year other than our dental rates going up a little bit. Still looking at the same plan, not changing it.
And you
I
guys
think-
are happy with that?
Yeah, we just changed it last year, didn't we?
Correct, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we go with that plan and continue with what we had.
Second.
Discussion? Tim?
Yes.
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 Yes. That was easy. Eric, you might as well come up. PRV.
All right. Good evening, everybody. So PRV projects, the next thing on the agenda there. Okay, so I know we talked about a few different things with the PRV project. We looked at, we did that update to the model. We looked at maybe doing some water main replacements. City has said that we want to focus on the PRV replacement this year. There's 2 PRVs in town, one by the old water tower and another one over on 5th, 4th, on the east side. Yeah, so just wanted to confirm that with the city that that's what they want to do to move forward on that. I did provide a cost estimate back in March to do that work. So what I can, the scope review is, that's what we want to do is the 2 PRVs. And if the city confirms that, then the next thing I can do is go over the cost items if you want to, and then next meeting or special meeting, I could bring a agreement to do that work. But I was thinking as far as the schedule goes, if we wanted to start work on designing that, we could maybe get that switched out, get those PRVs switched out this fall. If that's something that would work, or if that's something that the city, I know you guys said you have it in the budget to do that, but it's up to the city if they want to do that.
Yeah, we have that in our Prairie Dog and our other one, right?
Yeah.
We talked ARPA funds and Prairie Dog funds.
Yes, and I guess if we're gonna go through with that tonight, I would just like that it made in the motion that we will be, so it's officially designated that we are using ARPA funds and Prairie Dog funds for this project. And then, because I'll have all the reporting that'll have to go with that now.
Well, it needs to be done, so
Yeah. Yeah, if we're gonna take that old tower out.
eventually.
Yeah.
So,
So you're looking for a motion
Yes.
to approve installing the PRV with the money from ARPA and Prairie Dog designated, correct?
to move forward with the plans and specifications, correct?
Yep, and I don't have an engineering agreement for you guys right now, but that's
Yeah.
something I would bring next time, or if there's a special meeting you wanted to have, I could bring it at that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I'll second it.
And I'll just add to that, I guess, so, what we have for Prairie Dog and that ARPA money that we'll be spending on it, it's like $199,825. So it's roughly the $200,000, then the city would have that $85,000 responsibility.
You said between the two of them, we have that
99, 285, I believe, or 825.
Yeah, that's,
There's 125 in Prairie Dog and 99K.
yeah, I thought it was what one had, yeah, so we're like
So 225, 224, somewhere in there is what I had. But
Yeah.
you know better than I do, but that's what I wrote down
Yeah.
last meeting.
Either way, the city's gonna have a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, the city will have a little bit, but it ain't, between those two, it's gonna cover a good portion of it. But then once we officially have Prairie Dog, not so much, but that ARPA money designated, there's a lot of reporting that goes with it that has to be updated, so.
Do you have to file a special report to pull that money out of there?
No, there's yearly reports that need to be done, so everything just needs to be tracked and how that money is being spent on when that report needs to be filed, so.
Okay.
It just needs to officially be designated that is what we're using it for.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on that? Okay, we have a motion second. Tim?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay, Eric, and then it's your update.
Great. So yeah, so I'll just start at the top going down. We met with Amos back in March to look at the lagoons, and he's going to do the dredging. His timeline back then was end of May, beginning of June. That's still his timeline.
Okay.
With a lot of contractors, he's the same way. They got some delays with some of the rains that we've had early this spring, so he's behind on his work down in South Dakota, where he's from right now on that. But he said that the beginning of this week, today is Monday, he would give me more of an exact timeline when he'd come down to do that. But he still expects it to be the end of May, beginning of June.
Okay.
So when I find out which week, what day he's thinking of coming, I'll make sure I'll let you guys know right away. So you're around and you're aware. But the city approved him to do that work, so it'll be good to see him come in here and do that. And I'm very curious. I'm sure you are as well, Tim, to see
how that works.
See how that thing works. So, but he's done a good job on other projects that we've seen. So I'm excited to see that. Any questions on the lagoon? Okay. Next one on there I have, we talked about the PRV already, Boat Ramp Road slide area. I came to you guys with a quote from Terracon last meeting for $72,000 to do a study and report on that slide area. The recommendation from me was to be able to get that study done so we know more of what's going on there to fix the problem in the best way possible. We talked about looking at funding. Funding update. Unfortunately, I don't have much for you. The Corps did not have anything for us. FEMA said that the cost-benefit ratio on how their funding mechanisms work would not really work out well with that, because we're not showing a loss besides the road. That would be a loss of infrastructure. But they said that would not really qualify for that. I'm not giving up on that. I'll still keep looking for funding options. What I did go do, though, I talked to Braun Intertech, which is another reputable geotechnical engineer, about it, and forwarded an email to the city from what they had said, and their quote is $50 to $70K to complete the study and report, so their upper end is near what Terracon is, but what they wanted to do is do a site visit, a recon for the price of $5,000 to better narrow their scope and to give a better cost estimate. Now, what I can do is I can go back and talk to their Bismarck office again on that and say, hey, what is all included in this $5,000 site visit? And let the city know, because that's not really the best information. But I understand that they would gather some data to be able to understand their project more and what their costs would be for them to provide that quote. It is quite a bit to come in and do multiple bores and put in technical equipment to measure where the sliding is going on at what depth, like we talked about before. So
I also asked Eric to check on and say, so if we do the $5,000, is that part of the 50 to 70K?
Yeah.
Would that be part of that if we went with that? Right. Gotta know those things.
Because it could end up being near the same. It could end up being more. It could have been less. Could have been a little bit more than what the Terracon quote was. Yeah. But we do know they're both in the same area. Right. So I'll reach back out to the guys at Braun Intertech, and I'll let you guys know what I find out.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing I got on there is the 2024 street and drainage improvements. So what I'm talking about when I say the 2024 street and drainage improvements project is the area north, on the north side of the highway, in the Custer Drive area. So we've looked at that area for quite a while, over the last 4 to 6 years, where we have drainage problems, where the water comes across the county road there, and it comes through the neighborhood and through the field, and it kind of, especially during spring melt, it can, inundate the streets and yards a little bit. So we wanted to improve the drainage through that area. So last time we talked about that was December of 2023, because we were looking at some different funding options. I have a map that shows the proposed improvements that I handed out to you guys as well. If you look at that map there, on the bottom says Heritage Heights, on the top right in red talks about the proposed improvements. Custer Drive is the main focus as far as asphalt replacement goes. There is some storm sewer that is optional on there. And then the main effort on the top of the page that you can't probably see the best, but that's where the majority of the water comes, is on the north side of that county road. It comes across, and what we would do is we would install some storm sewer on the northern portion of Rough Rider Road, Rough Rider Drive, and that's that.
Yeah, I'd look at just following around.
Yep, and then at a certain point, it would come out into the ditch, and we would improve the ditch from there to help get that flow to come down towards Dakota Drive. All right, so at Dakota Drive, at the end of that red box, that's where it crosses and goes into the highway. So the drainage improvements would help the longevity of our asphalt streets, because Custer Drive definitely was suffering for how much water it's always taken on, and no storm sewer, and the drainage is not the best.
And just that drain issue, was that up here though, or was that?
So in the field here, this little black dot right here, that's where we have that the catch basin area inlet in the field, and that was a pipe that was partially plugged.
It was buried.
Yeah, it was buried. I mean, the landowner is a farmer. They farm the field. It kind of got plugged up and buried. But it did get uncovered. But that has been opened back up now, from what I understand. I haven't gone and looked at it in any recently, but that will drain that field. And then we would improve the ditch from where that comes out to Rough Rider Road, because that brings that pipe comes from that field all the way across to Rough Rider Road, and then it empties into that ditch. So we want to improve that ditch and drainage. My recommendation would be to put storm sewer in as well, at least for a portion of Custer Drive. We could look at doing some milling and overlaying in Custer Drive. Some of that is not really worth milling and overlaying. It just needs to be reconstructed.
At least half of it is
Yep.
worth it.
Right. So that's the scope of that project. We looked at just doing the drainage portion, drainage improvements, which would be the work on the north end of that project with the storm sewer and the ditch improvements along Rough Rider. We looked at just doing the Custer Drive street improvements. But I guess what my intention is, and what my question to the commission is, what do we want to focus on for that? Do we want to focus on just getting drainage improvements done? Do we want to look at the streets? Do we want to look at both?
Well, the street is absolutely a disaster. The northern part isn't near as bad as the southern part. The northern part, a lot of that could possibly be milled off and overlaid, but the whole southern part would all have to be torn out.
And that's what we looked at one of the times, was milling and overlaying the north part of that project and then reconstructing the southern portion.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you do that before you did any drainage things?
Well, do both at the same time, because you're not gonna fix the street and then dig them up again.
I mean, I'm talking about Rough Rider Road,
Oh,
doing the drainage over there to supplement along with Custer Drive.
well,
all these properties.
once again, everything, we have to figure funding.
Yeah, I know.
We can't special everybody out of their homes.
Yeah, and then just switching gears real quick, talking about funding, because Larry mentioned funding. There's a couple of different options for that. Now, there's no utilities, water and sewer, so that kind of shoots us out of getting State Water Commission dollars, SRF funding, USDA funding, although that's not the best option for Washburn anyways. So the bullet points under the funding update is McLean County Water Board drainage improvements cost. We have talked with them about this project over the years. Our goal, the city's goal, would be to work with them and have them pay for a portion or the majority of the drainage improvements. And that would be the dirt work to the ditch. That would be the catch basins. It'd be the stormwater, storm drains. It would be that portion of the work. Unfortunately, a lot of the cost is going to be in the asphalt. That's the biggest expense, right? So, but partnering with them to the best of the city's ability would be the goal, to get as much contribution from the water board as we could. That would be number one. Number two, we talked about the North Dakota Hazard Mitigation Loan Fund. That's a new funding program through the Department of Emergency Services. That is a 1% interest loan. You're not going to get much better than that. So for loans anyways. But that's a new program that could apply for that. Another one is the Bank of North Dakota Infrastructure Revolving Loan Fund. The city has done that before. It's 2% interest rate. And then the other thing that we looked at was and I shouldn't even put it on here, but is the DOT Flex Fund grant. We did not get that awarded. Should have taken that off as a salt in the wound. We didn't get it awarded, but we did try on that one. I would definitely try on that again. I think I can look at that and, doing as much politicking as I possibly can to try to get that to work for the city. That's a great program that the DOT just came up with for grant dollars.
That would be so huge.
Yes.
Oh my God.
What's the total cost on the estimate on the doing both drainage and Custer Drive?
I have not updated that since last December when we were looking at getting the Flex Fund grant, and I think we're around 3.2. I want to say for doing all of this on this sheet. That's the street improvements, that's the drainage improvements, that's everything.
2.2 million?
3.2.
3.2 million.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to
Get the money.
I got maybe two questions. Like I've heard of this issue up here with that drainage.
Yep.
Is it more of like a flash flood, or is it standing? What is it? I mean, is it?
It's an area inlet. It's all it is. And so the problem stems from, and that's why I brought up the water board earlier. And I know Larry's very familiar with this, but this 8th Street or whatever it is, that gravel road up here, all of this, it's a large drainage basin, and we did a drainage study on this. And I could bring that stuff back to you too, so some of you guys that might not have seen that yet. We did a big study on this, showing we delineated the drainage area, and we showed how much water flows through.
Yeah,
it comes across this road, and then if you ever drive up on Custer, you've seen it before, between the homes, there's a sharp ditch, right? It comes through there, and then it empties out into this field, all right? Well, this landowner's farming this area, right? Well, they want to drain their field. I'm not sure when this was put in, but water will drain through this field. That did get covered, though, at one point in time, and the water will eventually drain through and get back onto Custer. But it's going through people's yards and stuff to get there.
That's where Chris
Some of those,
that time, wasn't it?
I mean, you see these people drain tile. Is there any merit to seeing if drain tiling would take care of that issue, and instead of having inlet that plugs, drain tile it and dump it?
I think that it got plugged because it was buried intentionally, is why it got plugged.
Oh,
It works
And
quite well now, actually.
okay.
And I haven't, I mean, you guys are going to know better than me as far as seeing the big rain events or the spring runoff, how that all is drained.
Great last year, yeah.
Yeah, so.
A lot of water went through there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just how it was getting plugged, I guess. I don't know, instead of having an inlet, just letting that, do like a thing of drain tile back to there.
It shouldn't ever get plugged again unless somebody does it intentionally. Like I said, last year, we had a lot of snow, a lot of water went through there, and it took it really well, I think.
Good. Yeah. How did Rough Rider Rough Rider Road's ditch go when it was it? And I know Rough Rider Road
But
didn't,
it was okay. It was,
Yeah.
we had a slow melt that year, so it kind of helped.
Excuse me, Mike had a comment or a question?
The only problem that really happens, and you guys did a good job of cleaning out the culverts, right on the corner where it crosses, Sully's on that side. Anyway, when it crosses over,
What are you talking about?
right here by Blatchford's, right here, that culvert can't take enough.
Oh,
capacity.
on the intersection there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can't take enough capacity.
Oh, yeah, that needs to be.
That-
so that would be.
That's where
replaced.
our backup is now.
So yeah, I mean, everything along Rough Rider would be improved. And
Yeah.
this culvert underneath, was Woodgate on the west
Yeah,
side,
Woodgate,
where
right.
Sully on
Yeah.
Right.
the east side.
Tomorrow's
That underneath that would be.
That's
Yeah.
where the problem is, and it's usually spring
Right.
when the water breaks loose from
Yeah.
the north because it froze up or whatever. That's when we have all the problems.
Yep.
Usually rain events don't do it.
Right, yep. Thank you. But you're absolutely right, that is a bad spot. A lot of water goes to that little bitty culvert. Anyway, okay. We need to find a way to get at least $1 million off of this.
And like I say, that's why I wanted to bring this project back up, and if we can tweak the scope a little bit and maybe bite off a chunk that the city's willing to chew, or if pivot, I know that there's need up there. I know you guys want to get some things done up there. Not to make this more complicated, but I know the area, there's some lots up there that are potentially, that could be developed as well, and that's something else that is something that,
Yes.
the city has looked at before.
Well, I think we definitely need to get a hold of the water board,
Mhm.
and talk to them, and I think we need an update on potential cost.
Okay.
Don't you agree with that, everybody? I mean, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that sewer and water, is that all PVC now in that area?
Everything up there is PVC.
Like
Yep.
no clay tile or nothing?
There's no clay tile pipe, there's no cast iron water main, that's all PVC.
No lead.
And
No lead.
there shouldn't be any lead. This area was developed, well,
70s.
was it in the 70s?
About
I
that.
mean, there could potentially be some, but it's
I don't-
not as likely. I think Main Street's more what we're worried about for lead, but yeah, the utilities, water and sewer are in good shape up there. I don't know, Adam, if you had any trouble with breaks at all in that area?
No,
Not until you mentioned it.
yeah.
So,
Thank you.
would it be the commission's wishes for me to keep this whole thing in the scope, the drainage improvements and the Custer Drive improvements, and come back to you guys with the updated cost estimate?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would think so.
And this is something that I would plan to work on this fall, winter, and then it would be construction next spring is what we would like to do, I guess, if that's something the city still wants to do.
Right, well, we would have to, figure it out, and then we'd have to.
See what kind of funding we got.
People, I guess.
As far as paying special, it'd be nice to push these off every 5 years, to chew on your specials, I guess, as a homeowner.
So how many specials come off now, Chelsea?
We just got a letter last week that one of the bonds has been completed. And then 24, I believe after this year, 3 of them come off. We will have a new one going on though.
Yeah, right.
I can get all that information though as well, because by hopefully June too, I'll have a better idea
Yeah,
of where we're sitting. I'll talk about that coming up. But I do know that we have, I think, 3 coming off here in the future too. But I can get those numbers to move forward with when we have more information on this project.
If we could get this, then that would make this work.
That's already on your taxes.
well, when is?
That one on your taxes for 24. That's why your taxes increased.
All right. Okay,
Any questions on that street and drainage improvements project?
I have none.
So I'll follow up with some updated costs for you guys. since last winter, I about guarantee you that the cost is probably a little bit more, and that's something that we all know that costs have continued to climb on infrastructure projects. Inflation's been a killer, especially lately. So, more to follow on that. Next thing I have on there is lead and copper revision rule, technical assistance. So the survey data has been reviewed and verified, so we're good there. Right now, what we're doing for the city and the state is we're getting that initial service line inventory completed in the DEQ spreadsheet that they require, and that's going to be uploaded to the state's portal. So we're getting that done.
Question on
Yep.
that? So how much percentage do you have for Washburn data?
We had
Have you gotten more?
we had right around 25%, I think, was what we had returned on the surveys, which is pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
Did
That's
you
pretty
guys
good.
go out and get some then, or not?
Have we gone out after the fact? I
I thought you were.
don't think so. We haven't talked, maybe in the future.
Yeah, I don't know how you can move forward without actually knowing what you have.
Right. So what we are required to report per the EPA is we have to report if it's lead,
Yeah.
non-lead, or unknown. So if we don't know what it is, we're going to put unknown. And what the EPA is going to eventually come out with is a replacement rate of known lead or unknown service line. So we have some time on that, and there's going to be funding available. So I don't want you guys to get too worked up about that. But we are getting close to completing the Category 1 services. That has to be completed by June 1st. So we have this month to get that done. I wanted to point out, I sent it today, so I apologize I didn't send it last week with my report, but it's this sheet right here. This right here is the SRF, State Revolving Fund, for lead service line replacement. And this is a really good program. It has 66% up to 75% loan forgiveness for lead service line replacement. All right. So what the city would need to do, and I'm not saying you guys have to do a lead service line replacement, but this is a funding mechanism that's in place right now. I don't know if it's going to be the same next year or the year after that, or so on and so forth. I would imagine that there's going to be state and federal dollars available if they're requiring public water systems like Washburn and everyone else to replace lead service lines. Okay. So what this does require, though, it requires you to get on the intended use plan, which we've done that for the city many times for SRF loan funding, so that's not a big deal. And it requires a preliminary engineering report. Okay, so that is something that AE2S would most certainly be willing to do for you guys. The other thing I didn't mention is that I said 1% is the best interest rate you're going to get in a loan. This one is actually a 0.5% interest rate. So the DEQ is actually having trouble utilizing this funding. Not enough public water systems are applying for it. So,
What?
so no one's really wanting to replace lead service lines right now. They're more interested in their streets, right? And their drainage improvement and everything else that they got to spend money on. So, but we're going to have to start getting after some lead service lines here eventually. That's going to be a requirement that they get replaced. So I just wanted to, Abby did a good job putting this together. It's a good sheet, informational sheet for you guys. So hang on to that. And if we need to talk about lead service line funding, this will be our route for that. Really good program. So, any questions on that?
So people are more worried about streets than lead service lines, but if you have to dig up a lead service line, why would you do a street project?
Well, I mean,
I know.
what matters to people the most, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I got potholes the size of my car. I want that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it.
So that's the way it goes. But
So when do we have to know all of our service lines, what they are?
so we have to turn in the initial inventory list. We're going to submit some unknowns. Some of the stuff is unknown.
But when do we have to know all of them?
You don't have to know all of them.
Never.
You don't have to. But here's the catch
And
right
how
here.
big is funding?
Here's the catch. If you have unknowns, they will treat those as lead service lines.
Yeah.
So if you have an inventory list that has, we have 1,200 service lines in Washburn, I'm just making up a number. 50% of those are unknown. Well, now you're just telling them that you have 50% lead lines, or lines that need to be replaced, because you don't know what they are. So if we don't figure it out with the survey, we're gonna have to figure it out by other means, what service lines they are. So we want it, it's very incumbent upon the city to know what all the service line materials are. Because it's only gonna make it harder for you when you have to start doing repairs.
I know, and I think I mentioned that the last time we talked about it. I said, why, our guys should go out and be seeing what they are, the ones that are unknown. Then we would know.
And I would encourage, if Adam and his group have time to go do service calls to check that, that's great. If you're going to do meter replacements or any other maintenance type of activities, make sure you're recording what you find.
We do that now.
So, yep. And any infrastructure project the city might have, that's of course something we'll want to be keeping track of. Last couple of years, it's become a bigger and bigger deal. Had we known this 10 and 20 years ago, obviously the city would be in a lot better shape, right? Yeah. So. Okay, any other questions on that? Last item I got on there is the 2023 project. Abby and I did work with Chelsea to get a price for the total construction cost. We do know that we need seeding work to happen yet. That's a small portion of the construction cost. That's supposed to happen, I told you this week, right?
Yeah.
Or was it next week?
Pending weather, it'd be late,
The end of
this week.
Okay, so I apologize that it's taken so long for the restoration seeding guys to get here for that project, and to everyone at home that's watching this that has been in the project area, and also a pain in the butt. But they are working on getting here this week to get that done. So we'll get that wrapped up and closed out, and I know there's specials that Chelsea wants to get done. So. Okay.
Questions for Eric? Are they coming out to inspect the streets that they redid? Is that this year or is that next year?
Yep, so the warranty period, it's a 1-year warranty period that started last fall when they finished substantial completion, right? I don't realize there's seeding to do, but that's something we're gonna wanna look at this summer and this fall. If we see anything that needs to be fixed under warranty, then we'll do that. So keep an eye on those roads and we'll make sure we let the contractor know for something.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Tim?
Okay, all I have is forestry had written for a grant last year to do tree plantings, and they're supposed to be 6 to 8 feet high with the water bags and everything. They'll put mulch around them, and they plant them in like a cluster instead of in a row, because you have some trees that are more hardy than others, so it's kind of like a shelter belt to protect these, that type of thing, is what the state forester recommended. And they had, I don't know if you've seen it down there, Adam, they've marked out some potential spots along the walking trail down there, so those should be going in sometime this spring. So, and then we still need a forestry member, correct, Chelsea? We are
Yes,
short.
because we got final confirmation from that Tom Neary will not, his term was up, he will not be reappointed, so.
Right. So Cody Meadows took one spot.
Yep, and we have that one open, you, Carla Klein, Cody, Bev, and we'll have the open position.
Yeah, so there's an open position on forestry if there's a community member that's interested. So.
I'll advertise for that too.
Okay, thank you. And then the other thing I had, it's there's been some issues with some dogs in town as far as attack, not necessarily attack, but one has bitten 3 people, is what was reported to me, and another one attacked another dog. There is a couple of little language changes in our ordinance that was suggested from one of our police officers that would put more teeth into the ordinance. So just wondering if it'd be okay with you guys if Keith and I could work on those changes in conjunction with, the law enforcement to keep it so that it's legal and enforceable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Work on that, yeah. Get it
Yeah,
as soon as possible.
because it's starting, there's been some issues, so.
Can I add something to your dog thing?
Yeah.
When I see people walking around with their dogs, are they required to pick up the poop when they poop in your yard?
Yes.
Yep.
Even if it's on the boulevard then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think another thing too is that there are still dogs that are not registered in town, so.
Yes.
And that's, so.
Okay, just kind of curious on that, because I've seen them walk around without their
So is that
bags
okay
and
with
stuff.
you, Keith, if I list
Yeah,
you?
that's great.
Yeah, that's all I got, Larry.
Okay, Jamie?
No, I guess I I just, and if this is, I mean, we already voted on it last time, but that vac truck, or that, jetting truck,
Oh, yeah?
just, kinda just, and if it doesn't matter, but is this like, you know, like we got that 1-ton pickup now, if that came like on a gooseneck chassis or even a bumper hitch, cause I kinda have the same thing, and I get around with that with my 4-wheel drive 1-ton pickup. I mean, it'd be a touch cheaper, but if it's already a done deal, it's a done deal, but,
Yeah, she's been ordered.
okay.
So,
Yeah, it's, you know, we used to pull the trailer around, and boy, it was a nightmare. It
got
just
some of the
was.
tighter spots to get into, I suppose.
You know, and especially if you got to back into a spot or something, oh my God, you know, in the winter, it was a real bear, you know. But, yeah.
And that's all I got.
Okay, so first for the HR assignment, portfolio, would be, if you're gonna have input, I guess I'd put a deadline of June 1st for the manual and that sort of stuff, not really the manual, but the guideline principles. We're still thinking on a name, but that'll be done before June 1st. So if there's any other commissioners that still want to submit anything to that, obviously the change of the single portfolio holder will be in there.
Yeah, I was gonna send you that next week.
No, yeah. that's-
I got it right here,
that's
I'll
really
send it to you.
Just that will be able to be
Yeah.
most helpful for those coming on or staying or whatever it may be. And with the library, check it out. If you haven't, Candy and team are doing some really cool things this summer. She's got a whole list. So just pop over there and you'll be able to see, it's a little table and there's 3 cells of just wonderful things that she's doing this summer for the kids. So
Cool.
definitely worth a check out.
Okay,
I have something for the library, if I may inject.
you're up, man.
Are they still accepting, books and stuff for the library?
Yep. Yeah, there's a material selection policy and that sort of stuff. So any sort of donations, there's a whole procedure to check them out.
Okay.
Get them in there. So yeah, it's okay.
Are you getting rid of some books?
Yeah, I'm getting rid of probably around 100 of them, so.
Wow.
And I'd like to compliment the city crews for filling some of those potholes around that I've been harping on for a while, and they look really good.
Very good.
All right.
Okay, so, I was gonna ask about the special assessment info, but you said you're still waiting for a couple last figures, correct?
Yeah, I have an update on that for.
Okay, you do,
fine.
okay,
Yeah.
very good. So on the 24th, there was a Red River Valley Water Supply Project meeting here in town. It was a regional meeting. So they went through a few things. Kind of basically said, we're more concerned about Washburn, but there was if we go with it, there will always be a cost to be in the project, which is very minimal. I think what they're projecting is in 24 it'll be 1 cent per meter, and then it's actually, when everything's all done, it'll probably be 15 cents per meter per month, which is like nothing. But that's just to be in the project. Then they came up with some figures on if we go with the Red River Valley Water Supply Project for our intake. They had a map showing where it was going, and they estimated it at $8,189,000. Well, January 3rd of this year, when they met here, and we had that program or that slide here, they told us it was going to be $11,800,000.
I'm kind of thinking they don't know.
And I asked them at that meeting, I said, so, what's going on here? Why are these different? And they go, they are. We didn't know. We don't know. And they said maybe the well and intake wasn't in on that. Yeah, that's in here for $200,000. That's what's that, like $3 million, $3.5 million difference.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm really a bit concerned at what's going on there. Just an update, we're definitely staying on board with it. So just want everybody to be aware of what's
But
going
we
on.
don't have any solid thing. They don't give us anything solid. So
no, I need to get a hold of Kip and find out if they ever come up with anything, and so that's where that sits.
And Larry, just to add, I think the next thing that they had on there that they wanted from the city was by the end of June.
Oh, yeah.
Is the memorandum of commitment.
Yep.
And that didn't, from what we understood at the meeting, the memorandum of commitment doesn't require the city to be paying any money yet. It's just they wanted to get all the water systems that we wanted to be in to sign that memorandum of commitment by the end of June.
Yes, and that would also give us what we're looking at for gallons per minute as well.
Yep.
By December, they would want that contract signed and participation agreement, and that's when our monthly or yearly, however we pay it, that fee would be included. If we sign that participation agreement by the end of June, it does not commit us to it. We could always pull back. That was one of my questions because we're still waiting to hear back from our brick grant, and there's a good possibility we will not hear back to see if we are awarded that brick grant by the time they want that memorandum signed.
Yeah. So. And they'll be sending stuff out for that. So,
yes.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. Any questions on that? Nope. What else do I have? So I've been looking at places to purchase tar and also a tar storage facility. I actually called around to a couple different places. I'm getting some info. I'm working on it. I know some of our tar is starting to bleed. I suggested to the guys, get some bentonite and sprinkle on there. And I did call the city of Bismarck, and they said what they do. They're using a different type of tar that we are, but they said they mix Dawn dish soap and water and they spray that on. Worth a try. Okay. So, yeah. So, but I noticed today, like in front here, it was starting to bleed. Somebody turned on the crack and it was bleeding. So.
Oh yeah.
Can you do one thing?
So.
Just get a spray bottle and see if it works out here.
You can.
We can try it. I mean,
we're gonna try it.
Yeah.
And by bleeding, you mean where it becomes almost like liquid, or it's not like sticky gum?
It becomes sticky.
It's sticky, and so you can play and poke it, you can play in it.
Yeah, it gets on your shoes, and then it gets on your carpet, and you have to get mad. Yeah.
Even at like low temperature, like 70 degrees, we did. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, but we're also looking at, I'm also looking at a different type of tar, so we don't deal with the stickiness.
So when we put this tar down, we don't put any light sand or anything over the top of it to seal it like?
No.
We do not. No.
Another thing they also said too, you can always, when you put it down, you can get some really cheap single ply toilet paper, put it on a little roller, right over the crack. So it's see it all the time.
The thing is, the surface dried out really well.
Yeah.
It's just that when they were doing it, maybe they didn't squeegee it as good as they should have. And there's definitely some spots on Main where it's blobbed on there, and you can see that is the worst. Because the top is dry, but once you break that seal on the top, it's pretty much liquid underneath there.
There's some big puddles around.
Yeah.
You gotta push it out to nothing.
And it was the first year we used this tar.
Yeah.
It was, and we had some problems initially getting it going, but yeah.
Okay. That's all I had. Chelsea?
The hall has been open still for open walk. We will keep that open through Thursday the 16th, and then it will be closed for the season. Okay. It is rented out Friday and Sunday. The crew is going to be here Monday to resurface that floor, so it will be closed off. It cannot be walked on for 48 hours. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to say absolutely nobody can walk on that floor over there. And then it'll be open back up, or it'll still be closed for open walk, but then the Legion has it and they can set up for their Memorial Day program and all that. So they'll be here Monday to do that. We've noticed a lot of activity this spring with fences going in, structures going up, and no building permits being filled out. So just as a reminder, if you don't know, please call and ask if you need a building permit. Fences do require a building permit. Decks do require a building permit. More so to make sure that you guys are within the property, lot lines, and just different things. We have it on file, so just, I guess, a friendly reminder for that.
So you have that on the website and everything, and
Yeah, and
Facebook and all that stuff.
the form is on our website. We put up a frequently used forms that are up there, so new resident forms to fill out for utility billing, ACH billing, building permits, special event permits, all that's on there.
I need reminders. You always put that on.
No, I guess it's been more of a thing in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a problem, I guess. Okay.
Special Assessment Committee did meet. They had a good generalized where they would like to be. We were hopefully waiting on that seating amount so we could have a finalized number. If we can get that this week, within the next week, it would be great. Otherwise, we have a very good number of what it's going to cost. I did send the spreadsheet to David Lindell to review. I have an email into the county for, I think, 5 parcels that needed to be added that I'm missing the footage for, so I need to get that added in. And then they can look those spreadsheets over and decide what they want to do. We're hopefully looking to have those published and go to a public hearing the middle to end of June and get that done with. So we're nearing the end for that. We are going through a 2-year audit. The agreement has been signed. I have sent over a bunch of stuff to the audit, so I'm waiting for the letter back from the state of roughly what the cost will be. They've changed it for new requirements. If there's any federal funding involved, which we will not have for these last 2 years that we are going through an audit, we'll have a different form that will need to be asked. She did ask about our brick funding, so she must have seen that, but I'd let her know that we were not awarded that yet. And then I'll see what else if they need anything from there, but that process has begun.
So we won't have an audit this year, it'll be next year, or we're having one this year and then it will go to 2 years after that?
We're on a 2-year audit, because when I asked about scheduling our audit for 2022, they, I think, had staffing issues, so he was asking some of his clients that he works well with if they could be pushed back to a 2-year audit. So when I asked about that, if that was okay, the assumption was yes, and then we just had to do this continuing disclosure for our bonds. So right now we are going through 2022 and 2023.
So we're doing the audit now?
Audit, yes. I've uploaded a whole bunch of information. Erica has helped with that. Waiting to hear back from that. But yes, we were pushed to a 2-year audit because they couldn't fit us in.
Sure.
There's no way of flunking and all this, is there?
Oh, there's definitely ways of flunking.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking.
You don't want to flunk it out. Anything else, Chelsea?
I believe that is all I have.
Okay, Adam?
You have my report there. I don't have a copy, so I'll just hit the highlights. That's okay. Now that the road's firmed up a bit, the guys went out and did a final pass on the road patching. Some of those spots we filled early in the spring, and they kept blowing out because the road was just like a sponge. It was pretty bad. The only place left, I believe, is Heritage Drive. And as we know, that road is really bad. We're going to throw some bags in there tomorrow. If they don't hold up, we might just end up putting gravel in there. It's extremely bad. I'm not sure if...
Did you get Bus Barn Road? There's a, right when they turn out of the
To go.
dollar store, there's a great big one there.
They should have gotten it. Yeah.
Okay.
They said they got everything but Rough Riders, or Heritage is what
Okay.
they said.
Very good.
So that's almost done. We'll get another half a pallet or so for anything that pops up.
Get a full pallet, I mean, it doesn't go bad, right?
It does, it gets really hard. The stuff we got in the fall is extremely hard.
Really?
Yeah. Fresher the better, so if we, and we don't get a bulk discount or whatever, so 20 bags now, if we need 20 bags later, we'll just go get them. In our spare time, we're doing some work on the plantings on the highway, cleaning those up. There's 4 to 6 inches of decomposed material on top of the plastic that the weeds are growing out of. It's just been so many years of chips decomposing, it just turned into soil. So we've been working on that. The one we did so far is right in front of the grocery store. We have chips and plastic for that, which we'll, like I said, in our spare time, we're working on that. If there's any questions about anything else that's on there.
I have one question for you, Adam.
Yep.
That area over there across from where Chris parks his dumpster truck and stuff, that road is chopped up there on, when you head out towards the highway and you're going west, south, or whatever direction that is. That blacktop there is all chopped up.
Yep.
Can you take that out of there so it's not a hazard when you drive over it and stuff? Or is it better off just leaving it chopped up like it is on the ground? You know what I'm saying? Just take it out of there?
Yeah. I'll have to look at it, I guess. I don't know exactly what you're referencing.
Directly across from his, where he parks his dumpster.
Are you saying take it out of there and maybe put some gravel in there, is what you're saying?
Or just take it out of there and just leave it bare or whatever, I don't know.
Across from where his
It's all chopped up in
his
there,
dump truck?
right across where you put those two hole patches where you,
On the other side?
yeah.
I'll have to look at it. Yeah, I just don't picture it in my mind, so.
Yeah, because everybody avoids going over it and then they drive over towards the middle of the street rather than staying on the right
Yeah,
side.
and like we discussed at the beginning of the meeting, there's a lot of spots like that around town
Yeah,
right now.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll take a look.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Any questions for anybody? Okay. So you got water usage here, Adam. Any questions on the water usage? Looks like about normal, huh?
Yeah,
I see the river's going up.
the first way up.
Bills, we have a chance to review the bills.
Motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Whatever. Who was first?
He was.
I was first.
Questions on the bills? Tim?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, next meeting, June 10th. Thank you everybody for coming.